It has been 3 months since Roe v. Wade was overturned, and according to our estimates from the number of abortions last year, for over the past 3 months, about 1,300 babies have been protected by law in Louisiana. So let's review the legal status. As most of the public knows, we had a trigger law making abortion illegal once Roe v. Wade was overturned, but for about 2 of the past 3 months, our law had been caught up in courts, with vagueness claims. But those vagueness claims were saying the law isn't clear enough, that women in high-risk pregnancies won't be able to receive the care that they need. A lot of fear and confusion has been pumped into the public by the media all over the country and has been totally conflating all of the state's pro-life laws, no matter where it comes from. But let me tell you, Louisiana law is super clear. People making these claims apparently did not read Louisiana law. Some information for you. If you go to PostRoeFacts.com, that's PostRoeFacts.com, you can see how our Louisiana law addresses ectopic pregnancy, life-threatening circumstances, miscarriage management, and other issues that the media was spreading. So if you have any fears or confusion yourself about if women can receive care in these situations that are highly important for doctors to be able to make decisions in the moment, or if you know anybody else who's continuing to have confusion and to be, casting vagueness onto the law, you can go to PostRoeFacts.com and go through the different sections of the law that specifically address these issues. So while the book isn't completely slammed shut on, what may happen in the courts still saw no reason for our law to not be in effect. And thankfully, abortion facilities' doors have totally slammed shut right now. It's pretty awesome. Just this week, a sign went up for sale at the abortion facility in Shreveport. That's the clinic that received the most mothers, most killing of babies in Louisiana per year. Cases that existed to only kill the innocent and exploit the vulnerable are gone for good, are leaving Louisiana. I mean, we had people who were calling that a clinic saying, okay, I'm 10 weeks pregnant. I heard that abortion is legal in Louisiana. Can I still get an abortion here? And they were saying, nope, sorry, gotta travel. We can't do anything for you. Can you believe that? I mean, seriously, they were only existing to kill these babies, not point women in other directions, whether they were choosing parenting or adoption, or even just asking them, are you sure that this is what you want to do? There are other resources out there. Get some counseling somewhere. Have referrals to somebody who's going to help walk this woman through this situation, and we're not the ones condemning a woman to travel to New Mexico. You are. So, pro-life post-Roe community, those clinics aren't here anymore, probably won't be here anymore, but we are, and we are here to help. While Louisiana has protected those 1,300 babies by law, we don't know what's actually happened to them or their mothers. Did they go to Florida or New Mexico or Kansas? Did she order an abortion pill online? And we know that market is rampantly growing right now all across the country. And another situation that we have, and to go back to reviewing the status of legal abortion here in Louisiana, we're so grateful that the clinics are closing and leaving. But there is one really unfortunate circumstance right now. There was this amendment put on the law, this past legislative session, whenever we were improving everything, there's an amendment put on the law that said that babies who receive a terminally ill diagnosis or have an irremediable condition are medically futile. That doctor, their OB/GYN or whatever, can still recommend the termination of a pregnancy. Maybe some of you are aware of the story of Nancy Davis, who lives in Louisiana. She's from Baton Rouge. Her baby received a diagnosis of acrania. Acrania did not make it onto the list of what doctors can recommend termination for. Specifically, there is a line item on the list that says if doctors agree that this is an irremediable condition, they can still allow her to get an abortion. There's a whole mess of, the hospitals and the attorneys and, everyone figuring out whether or not that this woman could get an abortion. But I'm not here to talk about that. It's pretty clear that this woman could get an abortion in Louisiana if the hospital has read the law clearly. Of course, here at Louisiana Right to Life, we don't agree that any baby deserves to be on a hit list, on a kill list, based on a diagnosis that they receive. And as an attorney actually put it in a letter to the Louisiana Department of Health, they said that this list was both over-inclusive and under-inclusive. Under-inclusive because of the Ukrainian situation, because this attorney was in favor of, this list existing. But he said over-inclusive because trisomy 13 and 18 are both on the list as well. And so many mothers and stories and children with 13 and 18 out there who are living tell the truth that this is not an irremediable condition. This is not something that you give up incompatibility of life. There are babies that are thriving with these diagnoses. It wasn't terminally ill. They were just different. So we have a lot of work to do to change our culture, to combat stuff like this medical futility amendment, to combat any future exceptions that they could put on our law. You guys, right now is an emotionally highly charged time. We can't give up. We are here to make sure that Louisiana continues to be pro-life, and we really need every pro-life person on board with that and willing to continue to fight with us, because the nitty-gritty work starts now. The truth of what people believe and what they're afraid of is pouring out all over the place right now. We need to be as strong as ever, having more compassionate conversations than ever, disseminating resources and telling the truth, especially with resources. When that woman comes to you, of someone who's considering ordering that abortion pill, considering traveling out of state, or she's just in a crisis and she wants to parent, or maybe she wants to choose adoption, but she's so she's overwhelmed. She doesn't know what the next step is. Let me help you figure out what that next step is for her. You need to put findhelpla.com, and the option line number that is on findhelpla.com in your phones, in your contact information. Have it on hand, post it on social media, get it out there. This is an amazing website that we've created for you to be able to share with the public, especially, your church communities, your local organizations, your grassroots efforts, your anybody in healthcare that encounters someone who may become aware of a diagnosis or just any sort of crisis that a mother could be in with an unplanned pregnancy or unexpected pregnancy. FindHelpLA.com has this zip code search where they can type in their zip code and they'll find all the pregnancy centers near them. And then if you click a little further and go into the resource tab, a number of categories besides pregnancy centers will show up. If she wants financial assistance, if she needs food, if she needs clothes, if she needs shelter, and I'm going to be adding transportation soon. There's a whole host, mentorship, right? There's a whole host of resources out there, an abundance of public and private social services that are in Louisiana that are ready to help. They just need to get out there so that women know where to turn and who's going to be able to help them, right? Pregnancy centers are going to be the best way for women to connect with those local resources. They're going to be able to talk with you and work with you in a case management style. But if someone just needs some basic help right now, just needs, again, that next step, go to findhelpla.com. It's going to help you. Yeah, I know churches are working on inventory lists of local resources to them. That's a great place to start, particularly in the situation of receiving an incompatible with life diagnosis or medically futile diagnosis. FindHelpLA.com definitely has some resources, but also go to our website at ProLifeLouisiana.org/prenatal-diagnosis. There you're going to find a whole host of resources, stories from other mothers who've received that diagnosis and went through that overwhelming moment of, what in the world do I do? How do I even approach this? There's stories of so many different diagnoses in there, and they can all be so beautiful and have a wonderful ending of this woman, this child being loved by their parents and not dying at the hands of an abortionist. And it has local Louisiana resources specifically for this, as well as a ton of national resources that are there with financial assistance, with grief counseling, with helping with a dignified burial, or, miscarriage counseling as well if the child doesn't make it to birth, as well as reasons why abortion is not the solution in this situation. So join me next time to talk more about the abortion pill black market and what's happening in Louisiana on my next Post-Roe Chat.